Hello and welcome back to another episode of Tips and Tools for Recovery That Works. On today's episode, we're going to go through the 12 tips that Smart Recovery recommends for happy and healthy living. Because let's face it, happy and healthy living is a big part and indeed an intended outcome of your successful recovery. The subject of what constitutes happiness has been contemplated for millennia. Most people agree that happiness is a desired state of being, but no two people can agree on how to get there. For some, happiness comes through hard work. For others, it's family and a rich social life. For others, it's through their faith or service to others. And for some, it's none or all of these things. Smart Recovery is not designed to help you find happiness per se, nor does it claim to be able to. But health and happiness is often a key goal and intended outcome of successful recovery, and successful recovery is what we're all about. So we compiled a list of 12 tips that may be able to get you moving in the direction of happiness, recover from setbacks more quickly, and succeed at long-term recovery. Number 1, self-acceptance. If you haven't seen our previous Tips and Tools episode about unconditional self-acceptance, I recommend that you check it out. The main takeaway here is that happy and healthy people try to accept themselves unconditionally, despite their perceived flaws, their past addictive behaviors. They don't spend a lot of mental energy trying to rate themselves or constantly struggling to prove their self-worth to themselves or to other people. Once we accept ourselves as we are, it's easier to start working to become the person we wish to be. Number 2, risk-taking. Some people are born risk takers, others are more conservative, and that's fine, to each their own. That said, taking some calculated risks is often a necessary part of professional or personal and most certainly financial growth. And personal growth and accomplishments often bring greater happiness. Number 3, there is no utopia. One of the greatest threats to successful recovery is a mindset that everything always has to be perfect, that people themselves must be perfect. We discussed this in our previous Tips and Tools episode about unconditional life acceptance, where we stressed that life is chaotic, messy, and oftentimes completely unfair. The only unchanging thing about life is that things always change. So to chase a vision of ultimate perfection is like trying to tap dance on quicksand. It will inevitably lead to some big disappointments, and disappointments often lead to triggers which can be a threat to your long-term recovery. Number 4, realizing what's solvable. There are really only two types of problems in life, the ones you can solve and the ones you can't. Yet it's not always easy to make the distinction. Humans are problem solvers by nature, so it's our first instinct to try to deal with everything that's thrown at us. But it's often unrealistic, which can lead to frustration, and frustration is fertile hunting ground for triggers. A happy, healthy life requires that we establish what problems we can control. Once we do, the more time and mental energy we can spend actually solving those problems and not becoming frustrated by the ones we can't. Number 5, taking responsibility. We've all heard the so-called victim mentality, where people believe that all of their problems are always out of their control. It's fate's fault, or so-called bad luck, or that their problems are always caused by other people. Well, other people can be a drag, that's for sure. For more on that, check out our previous Tips and Tools episode about unconditional other acceptance. The point here is that most happy and healthy people don't outsource the blame for their troubles to external forces, most of which they can't control. They accept much of the personal responsibility for their circumstances, how they think, how they feel, and how they ultimately behave as a result. And coming in at number 6, self-interest. Most of us like helping other people because it makes us feel needed, important, and loved. But there are healthy boundaries that many of us cross. There is such a thing as giving too much. Happy, emotionally balanced individuals know this boundary well. Yes, to some degree they sacrifice themselves for those they care about, but they don't forget that their personal interests are extremely important too and can't be completely overlooked for the sake of others all the time. Hey, I hope these first 6 tips for greater happiness were helpful to you. Join us for next month's episode where we look at the next 6 tips. And as always, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon on Smart Recovery's YouTube series, Tips and Tools for Recovery That Works.
Whoever you are, whatever you've been through, however you're recovering, wherever you're headed in life, Smart Recovery will always have your back. Smart Recovery, life beyond addiction. At Smart Recovery, we love producing recovery-related video content that entertains, motivates, and inspires anyone. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you click on the bell icon to be the first to know when we post new videos. And please, help us help anyone who needs us to build their own life beyond addiction with a tax-deductible donation to Smart Recovery today.